with another cost of living video, but we're going to do this one live today. The reason it's going to be live because you guys can ask your questions, we can interact. This is going to be for 2025. Now, first off, you start watching this now, you need to get a pen and paper or keep a mental note or go back and watch this video again. I'm going to give you guys some information. Yes, I built my house now, so I no longer pay rent, but I can give you guys the averages of rent and what I would pay if I still paid rent. And I went above the averages on that one. So for right now, this video is the true cost of living in Dominican Republic. If you do not know, I have been in Dominican Republic almost 20 years, living here close to 15 years now. Owner, operator, multiple businesses, one that you may know, FlipFlop Sports Bar in Sosua. I spent most of my time in Sosua, but I've traveled the whole country and lived in multiple places in the country. So what I'll do now is we're going to break everything down. People always ask, is it really cheaper? Has it gotten expensive? What's the real cost of living? So I got told that because I built my house, I no longer know the cost of living, but I do. I just had to break the last video down based on I no longer pay rent. But this video, I'm gonna give you guys averages and real-time info based on my conversations with people, my notes that I've taken. I've been putting this video together for about 2 months, talking to different people. I'm gonna go with the averages that I've spoken to everybody about, because some guys live, they live high on the hill, the east side apartment, and some people live normal. So I actually live pretty normal. I built my house. I just wanted things a certain way, but it's not as expensive as you may think. So I want you to drop your guesses what you think I pay per month. What do you think my budget is per month? What my cost of living is per month. You can drop your guesses in the chat now or wait till later on in the live. I'll ask you guys again. Now, one pause. I heard a comment saying Dominican Republic has gotten more expensive. I do believe it's gotten a little more expensive because more people are coming down here. I always say that there's more expats on this side of the country, on this side of the world, than anywhere. I believe Mexico and DR may be neck and neck. I'm not 100% sure. I've talked to a lot of Mexican expats. But I do know that the only other place that I know that has more expats than Dominican Republic by far is probably Thailand. Asia period as a whole. But I always say that DR is number one on this side of the world. And like I said, it might be neck and neck with Mexico, because I have met a lot of Mexican expats. I do say that supply and demand is up. Everybody wants to be here. You said in Mexico, I think Mexico might have more. And it's also closer to the States. But like I said, we're talking about DR right now, but I threw that in there because I want to be honest and transparent. I do say that now is the time to get in or become an expat if you plan on the future, if you plan on now, wherever you plan on going. But I think DR is the time. Business is booming. Things are, villas are going down a little bit, but for a while they were selling like crazy. There's so many things being built, and this has been happening since I've been coming to this country. So I always say, like, my first day in this country, I saw construction. So there's always something being built in Dominican Republic, especially the North Coast. This is more the countryside, so there's always something being built. But so many big projects have been added to the itinerary of this country that things are going to go up. I told you guys before, to give you guys a sidebar, Playa Bergantine is 3 minutes down the road from me. Okay, and I decided to build my house because once I knew that Playa Bergantine sign went up, for you guys that don't know, Playa Bergantine is very popular. Dominicans go there 3-4 times a week, especially on Sundays. I've hung out there many a times. Some of you guys have been on the Halloween ATV tours in Puerto Plata. We've gone to Playa Bergantine. I might not be saying it right. I say Burger, whatever it is. It's a very popular beach. So it's out the way, so you may not know it. But once that sign went up on the highway, which I predicted, everything was going to shoot through the roof. If you come on the highway right now, from POP to even the Playa Burger sign before the bridge, all you see is construction. People are building condos, houses, apartments, villas. So I knew that was going to happen. So I decided to build my house before the prices shot through the roof on building materials. I got in because I had a feeling once they closed that deal and all those big hotels and Vin Diesel and all that, it was going to be a big deal. So let's get into this. So I kind of knew what was going to happen. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a rundown of averages. Okay, this is my conversations with a couple of expats that live in Dominican Republic. We're going to look at, I'm going to use Santo Domingo first. So 1 bedroom in the city could be anywhere from 500 to 750. That's an average. I'm giving you guys averages. Like I said, you can write some of this down if you want to watch the video again. Smaller towns like Sosua or Las Terrenas, 250 to 400 on the low end, 450 to 800, 900 on the high end. Rent has gone up. If any of you guys have had a conversation with me at FlipFlop, I tell you all the time, Sosua is one big circle. Everything inside that circle, you're going to pay. You go a block away either way. 1 block outside of Sosua, 1 block, it's cheap. So all you guys that want to be inside Sosua, you're going to pay more. You go across the street, go down the block, it's cheaper. Still near Sosua, but it's just cheaper. That's what it is. Now this is averages, and I'll get to the comments after this one. Electricity, water, internet, anywhere from $75 to $150 a month. You like your AC 24/7, obviously the bill's going to be higher. Now these are averages. I'll go over my personal one in a minute. So I'm going to stop at electricity and water and internet. Give me a second. CB Hustle, what's good with you? You at the spot? All right, CB, I'll be back tomorrow. I had to come do this live, brother. Blue Smoke Empire, what's up with you? You was living a little bit above normal, my guy. And he said 2,500. No, close though. 1,200. Nope. 750. I've done below 1,000 before. True Science Base at 3,000. That'd be a good budget for me, but I don't need it. I was told you need 3 to 4K per month to live comfortably in DR. Des, that's really on you how you live, and I'm gonna go over that later. But it's really based on the person. To me, this cost of living videos that I do one per year. It's based on you. You may not live like I live. I may not live like you live. I don't need a pool. I plan on building a pool here soon for the fam and for the kids, whatever. I don't need a pool. You get a house in POP, maybe about $800 a month. You add a pool, that's $1,300, $1,400. I don't need, and you got to maintain the pool. I don't need a pool. I'll go jump in my boys' pool. I got multiple friends with pools. If I need to get in the pool, I'll jump in the pool. A pool is not mandatory for me. I got the ocean right here, and I'm not going to get the chlorine and I don't care about none of that stuff. So I don't need a pool. So you're going to pay more. You run AC 24/7. Your light bill's going to be higher. Depending on what you eat. If you eat out a lot, it's going to be higher. So you got to take all those things into consideration based on how you personally live. I've been to people's houses, and I'll be like, cool, dope. You know what I'm saying? I could rock with that. Then I've seen people be like, oh, how you doing that? I don't know. This place got Wi-Fi? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Yeah, Mexico has more. Okay. I was in Santo Domingo last weekend, and the cop told me he could bring me to a nice apartment, 2 to 6 from. It is definitely possible. It's all about the area you're in. Let's say you go to areas that everybody knows, Piantini, one of the most expensive areas in Santo Domingo. You're going to spend. I had a good friend, I haven't seen him in a while, that lived right out, literally, I forgot the name, but maybe someone could tell me. It's the area right outside of Piantini. It's not Piantini, but it's right next to it. His security, doorman, all that, his crib was like $5,000 a month. And the funny part is, when you went to this neighborhood, you kind of knew everything was expensive. Then when you pulled up to his building, it was like, holy crap. $5,000 a month. I would never, three bedroom, 4 bathroom. I would never pay $5,000 a month. But that's what he wanted. So it's really, and a beautiful crib, overlook the city, dope. I wouldn't pay that though. His pockets, that's what he wanted. Cool, good for him. Black Mamba, what's up with you? You built the whole house or just the apartment on top? We redid the downstairs and I built the top. Prices will drop. Yeah, King Sam, what up, man? I gotta call you too. Terrence said, what's up with you? Yeah, you are a Blue Smoke. You know what I'm talking about. Wiseman said, housing, transportation will always get you financially. Take care of that and you will free yourself up. Exactly, 100%. Starlink a day, all day. Yeah, I'm getting my Starlink for the crib soon. I got it at the bar. Angry Bus Driver said, I'm retiring in 13 years. I'm really thinking about moving to Pop. I'll tell you something. For all you guys retiring within the next 15 to 10 years or 5 years or even sooner, you ain't got to buy nothing now, but you should start planning. And I don't care if it's not DR. You should start planning. I'm not going to stray off the topic too much, but you start planning. Nako, thank you, Carlos. Nako, thank you. Dave said 15, close. Roy, I'll see you tomorrow, but I'll be at the bar. All right, so these are averages. Let's get into food and groceries. Okay. Weekly groceries. Now, we tend to shop for the month. Dominicans don't shop for the month. We tend to shop for the month. I shop once a week, once every 2 weeks when I got time. Sometimes every 3 weeks. You could do weekly for about $40 to $70 per person. Okay, that's enough food. Milk, chicken, rice, stuff. I eat a lot of steak, so my budget's a little higher. Eating out. Now, eating out. If you want to do local food, that's going to be about $4 to $8. Local food. You get some pico pollo if you want. Restaurant, date night, stuff like that. 25 to 40 bucks a plate. It's definitely cheaper than the US. And I will go back to my original statement of our things getting more expensive. As they are a little more expensive here now, they're still cheaper than the US. So I'll take that. You know what I'm saying? Transportation. Now, for you guys that I drive. For you guys that don't drive. Public transportation, motoconchos, carritos, which are $1 cars, guaguas, little buses, 50 cents to $1.50. All right. If you know the transit system here, you're fine. I've taken a guagua and a moto and a carrito all over the country. Okay, not a moto. I'll take a moto long distances though. The transportation system here is the reason they don't have planes going city to city. People always say, why don't we got planes going city to city? Because the transportation here is dope. You can get every single place in this country through their transportation system. One company goes to another company goes to another. It works all in unison. If you want to get to the other side of this island by carrito, you can go carrito to city to city to city and just hop in different carritos. You want to go guagua. I've done this personally. One guagua to another city, to another guagua, to another city. If you want to take, some places Caribbean tours don't go. You got to go to the capital, take a taxi to the other guaguas. It is what it is. You can get all over this country with their transportation system. May take you a little while, may take you a few stops, but you're going to get there. Now, if you rent a car monthly, I've done this before. I bought my car previously years ago. It could be $500, $800 a month, depending. I think so. I got a friend renting one now for $450 a month. He's got a deal though. Gas is like $5.50 per gallon, so keep that into perspective. Let's go into entertainment. This is average. I'm giving you guys averages, and I'm gonna go over my stuff. Partying, chilling on the beach. As you know, drinks could be anywhere from $3 to $10. $10, yes. The beach, especially on the beach, everything's more expensive. I'll give you a side note on why things are more expensive on the beach. The beach has to deal with weather. Okay? So you've got to understand it's 365 days in the year. The beach may be closed or not have any customers due to weather almost 150 of those days out the year or more. So you pay for the days they're closed, basically. It doesn't make sense to you, but if you're a business person and have a business on the beach, you realize why you got to charge these prices. Okay? You may not eat for the month. So it is what it is. Gyms are anywhere from, and I put that in entertainment. Gyms are anywhere from $20 to $35 a month. One gym I go to is $80 a month. It's convenience for me not having to drive home and take a shower. I go over there, do my cardio. Lots of fun to be had with a maxing your card. Bars and stuff, drinks anywhere from $3 to $10, same thing. A little lower outside the beach, but still, depending on where you go, drinks can be expensive. Especially when you're doing mixed drinks and taxes and so on. Once again, these are averages, and I'll get to the comments after this one. Healthcare. Very affordable. If you're over 55, you got to really talk to the people about getting healthcare. They try not to give us non-Dominicans over 55 healthcare right away. It's little hoops you got to jump through, but they'll do it. Doctor visit can be $30 to $50. This is without healthcare, excuse me. Monthly insurance anywhere from $40 to $100. That's kind of off, but I did averages amongst people I spoke to. The meds are cheap. One thing about the medicine is cheap as hell. Some of you guys know you run to the pharmacy, you can get anything you need. Generic version, obviously, but it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. If you need to know what generic is, I'll explain it to you later. Very, very cheap here. So meds are super cheap. Okay. Now, let me get into the comments and then we'll get back to it. Like I said, these are averages, guys. So you may want to write some of this stuff down. I'm just giving you averages based on me speaking to expats and myself, but I'll give you my personal one in a second. Let me catch you on the comments. CAB, see it. You're really close, bro. See, you're really close. Tony Fox said 27. I guess that's too much. Dom, you don't really need a car. I'll tell you the reason I have a car. Well, besides me wanting one, and I've rented cars for years. Like, I would rent a car for a year, 6 months. I was basically paying their car note, but it was convenient. But when I stopped doing that, I took public transportation over this country. The reason I ended up getting a car is because when I would rent a car to go shopping or go to another city, maybe Santiago, go shopping, go hang out all of a sudden, gas in the rental, because you got to do a rental for minimum 2 days. Gas in the rental would kind of be a car note, right? When I did the math, like I always do numbers in my head. So when I did the math, I was like, I could just buy a car. And that's why I did that. Manuel Jeter, what up? Utah, what's going on? Yes, gas is very expensive. Gas here is expensive. Carlos, I need help on finding a car. I have an apartment already in San Cristobal. Shout out to you. I'll be out there soon. If you're going to buy a car, I'll give you this tidbit that I did. 66 Carfaxes. That's how many Carfaxes I did before I got a car. A lot of damaged cars out here. You got to be careful. Angry Bus Driver, can I please add that comment? He says, I want to live close to the beach. That's another reason why prices are so high to some of you. If you guys, and I'm not talking about you personally, you guys feel prices are higher. Everyone wants to live by the beach. Anywhere within 150 yards of the beach is dumb expensive. Okay? Just so you understand that. You want to walk outside and rub your toes in the sand? It costs money. Okay? A lot of people always, Greg, I want a spot by the beach. That's dope. You could live a block away, you're still by the beach. Like, I'm actually by a beach. There's a beach on that side, right there. Playa Burgundy's down the block. At the end of the day, the closer you are to a beach, the more you're going to spend. It's prime property. Club have entry fees in Santo Domingo and Classico. Billy D, you didn't do that. Stripe, we're just going over averages right now. Yeah, gotta get Wiseman's right. Quality is everything. Everything you just mentioned is cheap over there when it would be for me at NYC except the gym. Oh yeah, you go find cheap gyms. There's gyms for $10 a month. I was just giving you averages because there's some really nice gyms out here that charge a little more. One thing I understand about this country, and we do it back home, you set a price, a peak price, so that everybody can't come in. That's what a lot of businesses, we do it in America, they do the same thing here. You put a number up there so that the average person can't just walk in and pay. Okay? So, I want to add something. 1 second. Here's my notes right here. And guys, ask whatever questions you want. Try to put them in parentheses or something because we'll get to the question segment in a minute. Here's something I want to add. Childcare. for you guys that got kids, for you guys that plan to have kids. And I'm gonna do my rundown in a second. Normal childcare, local daycare, Spanish speaking only, $100 to $250 a month. $250 is on the high end. Bilingual or private daycare. Now we're talking. For some of you guys that gotta have the international schools, you're talking about $300 to $1,000 a month. Yeah, the bilingual schools for American or non-Dominican kids, a lot of people want their kids to go to, that they're great, but they're super expensive. You're going to pay. Nannies, live-in help, pretty much $300 a month, $400 a month. Full-time living could be $500 and up per month. So just to give you an idea. The schools, public schools are free. Public schools are free. So you got to worry about that if you want to. One of my kids goes to public school. Really good school at that. Monthly payments for normal schools, tuition is like $110 a year. Tuition. Monthly payments, that's the inscription, excuse me. Monthly payments about $200 to $600 a month, depending. So you got registration, uniforms, books, stuff like that. Add that in there. Okay, so let's get into mine. Let me get to the comment. You guys ask any questions y'all want to. Strife, I'm getting to that right now. The average rent, is, depending where you're at, could be anywhere from $250 to $600 or $900, depending where you're at. It really depends where you're at. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do before I go into my personal one. I'm gonna give you this in dollars, guys. I did all the math. I'm gonna give it to you in dollars, and we're not gonna be here too long because I want to give you guys the true cost of living. I was told, oh, you have a house now. You don't. It's the true cost of living. All right, and I'm gonna add if I paid rent. So I'm gonna do an add-on before I go into my personal budget. My car insurance is 2,000 pesos a year, which is $34 a year. I have liability only. It's $34 a year for my car insurance. My health insurance is 10,000 pesos every 3 months, which I actually got to pay it tomorrow, which is total $685 a year. I have full coverage, the second best coverage there is in Humano. And why the second best, Greg? Why not the first best? Well, the first best, if that's the word, is me being heliported out of Dominican Republic, flown out of Dominican Republic by air to Miami. If I'm that sick, leave me in DR. That's why it's the second best health coverage. I don't want any option of being flown out anywhere if I'm that bad. Leave me here. I'll be okay. Okay, so that's my car insurance and health insurance. I don't pay those monthly. I pay car insurance yearly, and I pay health insurance every 3 months. That's the deal I worked out with the insurance company. Let's go over my personal budget, and I'm going to add in rent. I wouldn't pay more than $500 of rent. My last apartment was $350 after they raised it from $270. So I'm gonna put $500 the base for rent. My light bill, $120 a month. My internet, $102 a month. I have really good internet. Food, give or take $340 a month. I buy a lot of protein food. Like I said, I eat a lot of steak. Entertainment, going out to eat, hanging out. You guys know I love to do that. Average is about $250 a month. Average. If I really want to put on a high end, like I'm partying all the time, on my normal time I used to do, $400 a month. But since I've slowed down a lot, $250 a month, and you can still have fun. Still go out and have fun. Okay. 3 children at $136 each. That's either school, whatever they need for the month. Usually one school, the other 2 are their food and whatever they need for the month. So $136 a piece, including my my rent. So what do you think? I'm gonna get to the comments right now. I just gave you those numbers. What do you think my budget for the month is? Put it in the comment section. I'm gonna read the comments right now. Ask any questions you want to ask, but what do you think my budget is per month? Now, like I said, I can still have fun with the best of them. I don't go out as much anymore, but when I go out, I'm spending money. So you can put that in the chat. Mo Music, what up? A good school could be $200, $300, but it depends what you mean good. Because my daughter goes to a great school and it's not that expensive. Lucifer, that's a whole different topic. That's a process, and I'm gonna go through that process soon. No, dollars, Mo Music, $300 to $1,000. I'm not speaking in pesos. I'm speaking in dollars. Des said, Flip, I've lived middle class my whole life and don't plan on living any different when I retire. What is considerable middle class? Des, that's me. Honestly, middle class entertainment, middle class, like I consider myself middle class as far as money goes, as far as how I spend. I could say you could do $2,000 a month. I was told, rest in peace, my boy Kiko, he told me over 13, 14 years ago, hey, $2,000 a month. I was able to do it then. I'm able to do it now, honestly. And Wiseman made a great point. You will be above middle class by default, but I get what you're saying. Maid service per month, yeah, Mar, I just mentioned like $500 living, $300 monthly. Clayway, yes, I pay every 3 months. That's let me go back to it again. Monthly insurance is yearly insurance, $685 US per year. And that's full coverage, everything, a little bit of dental involved. Still got to pay a little fee when I go to the dentist, but it's not, it's like 40% less. Everything's pretty much covered. Like I said, second best insurance they have. Other than that, I'm not being flown out. Bill payments do the most. Dom, you could pay every bill online. You could pay every bill through I have multiple banks. You could pay every bill through your banking account. It's in this phone here I'm doing a live on. But you could pay every single bill through your bank account. You can just go on boop, 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 and you're done. Some people still go to the offices and stuff, but you can pay it through your phone. There are a lot of studio apartments. I don't remember seeing many. When I was renting, apartments were all over. I mean, I will tell you guys what has happened in the time when I first got to Sosua on the North Coast to now. As you guys know, big shout out to all the expats in POP. When I lived in POP, there was like 7 of us. And when I say of us, it was like an Italian, a German, 3 brothers, you know what I'm saying, and 2 white dudes. Like it wasn't no big group of expats in Puerto. Okay. To see another expat was dope because what's up? Like, you know what I mean? There were no expats when I lived in Puerto Plata. As far as living in Puerto, the way they are now. And back then, all the apartments came unfurnished, which you had to buy your own furniture. But unfurnished is cheaper than furnished. Now everything's furnished because they realize the expats are coming, the Americans are coming, the Europeans are coming, the Canadians are coming. So why not furnish it and raise the rent? That's always been a thing. Furnished costs more. Unfurnished, less. You got to buy your own furniture, or you have your own furniture. Well, Des, you got to look for that. Like I said, for me, I would never. The most I've ever paid in rent ever in this entire country was $550 US for a house. Now that house currently is $1,500 US. I got the house. We were the first people living in that house. Gated community, only 6 houses in the whole community. That was $550. 4-bedroom, 3.5 bathroom, $550 a month. But it was a long time ago. Now it's $1,500. Would I pay $1,500? Hell no. My last apartment, like I said, when I left, $350. Previously, the $350 was $270 for 2 years, something like that. I have a thing with paying too much rent based on my knowledge of the country. I'm not paying exorbitant amounts of rent. I told you guys when I had my little 2-bedroom by Hispaniola, I paid $225 a month, 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom. I had a friend of mine who got money. He brought me to his crib. His crib was $1,225 a month, and my crib was bigger than his. And I was like, bro, you pay $1,000 more than me, and my crib is bigger than yours. But we hear $1,000, we just think, oh, that's a good number. You can look around and find cheap here, or normal. I call it normal, not cheap. But I was at this one apartment not too long ago, a couple years ago, and it's a beautiful apartment, new build. And the lady said 900. I was like, 900? But guess what? All her apartments are rented, so someone's paying 900. Shay Star with a great numbers. Thank you. Health insurance for local will cover. Health insurance is health insurance is health insurance, brother. Everything we do, health insurance in America is the same thing here. It's just in Spanish. Shay Star said 1500 close. Juan, you're close. Strife close. 29. What up? CAB is the closest, the actual closest one. But I'll do you guys like this. Face Mob, what up? So my monthly budget, and I added in rent. I threw rent in there. Now, obviously, there's no rent, so I can play around with some money. But I threw rent in there. My monthly budget is $1,828 to be exact. But let's put it to $200 for argument's sake. So I ain't been drinking. Let's say I feel like drinking going out, right? $2,000 for argument's sake. At my highest, I'm not sure if I did this in the video previously. At my highest ever, and it might be like a month like this month where all my kids graduate, all my kids needed something, stuff like that. Probably $2,500, and that's pretty much for the kids. The extra $5 is pretty much for the kids. So my average is pretty much $2,000. Okay, like I said, to be exact, based on all my numbers right here, 1,828 US, but I average out to two. I say two, and as I said, only a few times in my life here have I had like this month. This month was very expensive. Kids graduating school, you got to pay for graduation, pictures, all types of stuff. Me, believe it or not, me not drinking and partying is not saving me money at all. Because I find myself in the gym multiple times. I find myself buying enormous amounts of food. So it's actually not, I want to go back to drinking, But yeah, my average is about $2,000. I would say 1,800, but 2,000 is the average. I pay 1,070. Yeah, I pay 136 per month. Each kid is the average, but that's based on what they need. You know what I'm saying? So Black Mamba, I can do 1,500. I've done 1,000, but I didn't go out at all. You know what I'm saying? Pan Americanism says when relocating to countries, it's important to have medical infrastructure there. I agree. I mean, the hospitals here are great, and I think the best hospitals in Santiago, the second best probably in Santo Domingo. They do have good hospitals here, so you definitely have to budget yourself. But like I said, my budget may not be your budget. I've done $2,000 a month for over 15 years. Okay, and I can do less. Like I said, most of my money in the past few months has pretty much gone to protein and protein powders and protein foods. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm spending more. So every time I want to pop a bottle of Grey Goose, order some protein. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm lowering my budget by not drinking. I'm just spending differently. For your entertainment, and as an expat, what I will explain to you is this. This is another video, but I'll give you a tidbit. As you're an expat, your entertainment will become lower if you're smart, right? Why do I say that? You shouldn't be acting like a tourist anyway, okay? You should not be living like a tourist. Remember, when you're a tourist, you got 7 days, you gotta hit the ground running. You got as much money in your pocket to spend, you wanna spend it all. When you're living here, that same $1,000 or $2,000 you blow in 7 days, you don't wanna do that. Because that means you're wilding out like crazy, and you don't want to do that. You want to maintain your budget, I don't care how much money you have. I had an argument one time with a really good friend of mine who gets about $8,000 to $9,000 a month. And I said, just because you have it don't mean you got to spend it. Because you're just spending recklessly now. Because everything is so cheap down here, you're just spending. And it took him a while, he got mad at me, but it took him a while to realize, yeah, you're right, I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to do that. Yeah, you didn't have to. You're just spending it because you got it. And at the end of the day, you're not going to go broke because your money's guaranteed every month. But now it's like you're being wasteful. One thing about me, if you know me, I don't like wasting money. I don't like, I've taken losses based on me not making right decisions, but I don't want to be wasteful when it comes to money. Well, yeah, if you're visiting, of course you're going to pay more for a cook because you're hiring a cook for one day or a couple days. If you're living here, you're hiring an employee. It's very different if you're hiring a nanny or a cook. You're hiring an employee per month. If you're paying somebody per day, that's just like me. If I hire a plumber to do some work, I'm not paying his monthly wage. I'm paying him to do the work right then and there. So of course I'm gonna pay a little bit more because I'm only hiring him for a day or two. You get me? So you're gonna pay more in the short term. Wiseman said, "Flip spinning raw game, free game." Appreciate that. But we all gotta learn the hard way, Wiseman. Let me tell you guys something. You guys hit the like button, by the way, too. I want to break something down to all of you that are watching this video. 145 in the chat. I did all this on my own. No help. That's why I can bring it to you. How they said, Hove did that. Hopefully you'll have to go through. I went through all the ups and downs down here. All the sacrifices, all the nonsense, all the BS. I got many a times. Usually by an American, but that's another story. So you wouldn't have to deal with that. People come to me all the time. Hey, I need a lawyer. I need health insurance. I need this. We got you. We can get you whatever you need. You know what I'm saying? The reality is you have to budget yourself. If you're not an expat, cool. But if you're on a staycation, you need to live like an expat. I told you guys my first time ever doing a budget. I was here for 6 months. I had 6 envelopes. And each month I wrote down, and I had money left over every month, except my birthday month. I wilded out. But I had money left over every single month because I was no longer living like a tourist. I was knowing where to shop. I was knowing where to drink. I was learning where to eat. Yeah, I want to go out, but let me find out who has the special. There are expats here, especially in Sosua and Caparete, which if you pay attention is dope. You'll see certain businesses only with lots of people in them on their specials day. Wing Wednesday. I've got everybody. Whatever country you're from, Wing Wednesday, people are pulling up. Taco Tuesday. Happy Hour Mondays. I'm just naming specials from FlipFlop. People know where to go for their special. Burrito Bomb Thursday, where you get a burrito and a rum drink. People come specifically for that because they get a free drink with a burrito. So as you live here, you learn the specials and you know where to go. And I learned that a long time ago when I was just running around. I was on a staycation basically. Me and my man Bill, little white dude from Miami, cool as hell. We hung out a lot back in the day. He'd be like, "Yo, Absolute's 100 pesos over here. Hey, they got 2-for-1 rum over here, 60 pesos." Like you learn it as you become an expat. So you can go to this fancy restaurant, you can afford that. But when you want to get more bang for your buck, you go to happy hour. You get the food specials. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much certain things cost, you're gonna pay for it anyway, right? That's what you want. But if you're on a budget, or if you're like, I don't want to go over my budget, let's just say you want to keep a budget, you go to the food specials. You go to happy hour. You find out who got this on a specific day. You go, you know what? I like Flip's wings. I don't want to buy a whole order right now. I'm gonna wait till Wednesday. Boom. Okay. That's what you do. I got a lot of people that do that. You know what I'm saying? And then what bugs me out is I got a cool group from Canada. They order like 100 something wings and just put it on the table. Hey, give me all these wings, put it on the table. It's the special. They do, still paying a special price. They just order as many wings as they want and eat. So it is what it is. So as an expat, you learn a little differently how to spend your money. As much as I enjoy shopping in Playa, I do know Playa is a little more expensive. As much as I enjoy having my products, our American products, I do know when I buy an American product, an imported product, it costs more. You know what I'm saying? So certain things you got to be like, do I really want that? Do I really need that? Treat yourself, but understand that you're paying top dollar for certain things. TVs. I tell people all the time, yes, it's cheaper to get a TV in America. Still got to ship it down. Still got to pay the taxes on it. And if it breaks, you're going to take it to homie in the corner. I buy a TV here. I get the warranty. Something's wrong with it. I take it back. They replace it. They fix it or they replace it. Had it with all my stuff. I only had to get a few things replaced in all my time here. Flip Cooking Knowledge, tell an open book. My group paid $100 per day for cook for week. $100 ain't bad, depending on how many meals. That's not bad. Angry Bush said, Flip, between you and Kampai, I'm seriously thinking about retiring out there. I want to rent out there for a year. Yes, definitely rent first. That's always my opinion. Rent first. And big shout out to John Casa de Kampai. Rent first. Okay? Why do I say that? This is Dominican Republic. I don't know if you heard, there's Dominicans here. A lot of y'all get surprised when there's a fucking a CRV outside blasting Dembo. It's Dominican Republic, you know. Maybe you didn't hear about it. Rent first, see the area you live in, see if you like it on a daily basis, on a month to month, week to week, day to day. Then decide if you want to buy in that area or choosing. I've lived in multiple areas. Some areas can get noisy. You know, what you can expect is a birthday party every now and then. What you can expect is someone pulling up with music blasting more times than not. A party going for 24 hours. That's normal shit. You just have to know if it's going to be every day or some days. This is great live stream, potential expat. Appreciate it, Pan American. 2,000 months is diabolical. That's poverty level anywhere in the state. And Emmanuel Jeter, that's why I said earlier, if you were watching earlier, as people say DR has gotten more expensive, it's still cheaper than the US. $2,000 a month with my children, like, come on. You kind of can't beat that. And guys, don't go running having kids in DR. He said it's cheap. Relax. Slow down, homie. You know what I'm saying? Juan said this might be an ignorant question, but it's difficult to rent a place long term. No, Juan, it's the only stupid question, the question you don't ask. Definitely not a stupid question. You can rent long term. I've always rented long term. I'm usually I started doing 6-month leases when I first started my staycation and living here. Then I was doing year leases. You can actually do month to month. I've had, matter of fact, my previous apartment, we had a year contract. The contract ran out. I stayed for a couple more years. We didn't have a contract. It was just, hey, pay the rent. You send me the rent cash app. You know what I'm saying? You can do long term. A lot of owners, because I knew the people, so it wasn't a big deal. But a lot of owners will just redo your contract. And you just got to go resign. This way they make it official, year to year. But yeah, you could definitely do long term. You do not need a visa for it. Just got to pay your rent. They don't care. As long as you pay the rent, you're good to go. $8 gym membership. That's one gym. And like I said, that's the Sioux Ocean Village. They just don't worry about having their gym. Bandana Travels up with you, my guy. Ace Holmes said that's a good number. I remember you and Old Head on the plane said 2K. Yeah, 2K is good. You can have more. You can have less. I know. Listen, I've done $1,000 a month. There's a video somewhere around here on my channel. 1,000 to 1,500, 1,200. There's some guys that have a budget of 4,000 a month. You can live how you want to live. You know what I'm saying? No, you will not see me. Like I like to party, but even in my parties, I'll tell guys, I'm not going out tonight, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because I done popped 2 bottles last night. The budget tells us we ain't got it tonight. You know what I mean? So as much as you see me, gravy, he be partying. Yeah, some days I'll be like, I'm going home. You know, it's really these budgets that I'm giving you are more for averages, right? You may go out to eat every day. You may hire a cook and only have cooked meals at home. I know guys that cook meals at home, only go out once in a while to eat, or eat 2 meals at home and go out to eat. So it's really up to you. Each budget is going to be individualized based on you. Just like if we're all back in America. If I'm back in America right now, your budget's not going to be my budget. You know what I'm saying? I'll never forget, like my oldest daughter. What was her daycare? Daycare was $1,500 a month. Merrick Boulevard. I'll never forget that shit. I was like, my daughter better be super smart. Like $1,500 a month. And that was the USA. So I was like, that was a long time ago. My daughter's in her 20s now. She was a baby. Daycare was $1,500 a month. Way different. Obviously, daycare here is nowhere near that. And there was a bunch of Jamaican ladies yelling at the kids all day. That was the daycare. I can't do the accent. I'm not gonna do the accent. Just imagine a bunch of Jamaican ladies yelling at all the kids. That's all it was. I personally just, it's all good, Dad. I've been outside long enough. See you Tuesday. P-Man, see you soon. If I lived out there, I'm only engaging in fuckery on Friday, maybe Saturday. Some people, listen, some people do that. They only engage in entertainment on the weekends. You know, it really depends. Like I said, as I give you this information, it's all dependent on you. I've got tons of guys that watch my videos, that listen to me, and then as soon as they get on the ground, they forget everything I said. So it really is dependent on you. I can only guide you, but I can only give you what I've gone through and guide you, but so far, because it really is dependent on the person. It's individualized. There is no one way. Roger, what's going on? Smith said, Flip, it's easy for you to learn to swim because you have natural buoyancy. Get on your back in the water, relax. Start off with the backstroke. Genocide, what's going on? Vaughn Brown, what up? What's the best bang for your buck as far as living? Where would you live that's affordable and lifestyle? DR for me. That's where I choose to live. That's where I live. That's, for me, this is home. I only personally know a few people living in Brazil. I would say Brazil was cheaper. It's starting to come up a little bit, but it definitely was cheaper. I don't know many people that live in Colombia full time. I only know about 5. A lot of guys don't live in Colombia, y'all. So they super cap. They don't have the visa. They stay in Colombia, then they leave. Like Colombia is just full of cap all over the place. It's just super cap. I only know 5 people that actually live. 2 got married to stay in Colombia. That's how they got their visa. Colombia is pretty much on par, depending where you're gonna live. If you're gonna live in the hood, like here, if you're gonna live in the hood here, you're gonna pay cheap. But you got to deal with hood shit. You know what I'm saying? I think one of my friends has been robbed about 6 times already. He's lived there about 10 years, but he lives in the hood. Nice part of the hood, but the hood nonetheless. Spend what you have, whatever your budget is from 2K will work for. And that's and thank you. Spend what you have. You know what I'm saying? Spend what you have. It ain't really. It's really up to the person. I can only guide you, but so far on what I deal with. But it's really up to the person. And I can't stress that enough. That my budget may not be your budget. You know what I'm saying? Now, car note. I don't have a car note. Car insurance, health insurance. That's pretty average. Freddie Mac said locals know where the deals are. Here's the thing, though. Do they really? I will say this, and I'm not talking directly to you, Freddie, but I've noticed a lot of people choose to live in some of these neighborhoods that most of us wouldn't live in. Not poverty, but close to it, based on whatever their budget or based on them trying to save money. From my experience in this country, right here, in this country, nothing ever good comes out of those situations. What do you mean, Flip? I'm from the hood. Can't stress it enough. When you're surrounded by certain elements, you start to pick up certain habits if you're not from that element. You start to do certain things that element does on a daily basis that you don't do. So you tend to get caught up in the bullshit, as they say. Most people leave. They stay for a little while in these neighborhoods and then they move out because they realize it ain't for them, especially if they've never been to the hood at all. The money factor doesn't add up if you're going through bullshit. But the ones that don't leave end up getting caught up in a lot of bullshit. Trust me. It's unfortunate, but it happens, and that's part of being from the hood. You know that there's always some bullshit going on in the hood. Something's always happening. If you're not from there and you decide to live in another hood in another country, you think, well, I'm from America, but you ain't from the hood. This is the hood. They sell drugs on that corner, hoes on that corner, police rob you on that corner, other dudes rob you on that corner. Like, you know, this is called the hood. So I know guys that want to save as much money as possible. That's great, but don't risk your health, your life, your well-being to live in these cheap places. Now, I'll give you an example. I had an issue with that house I told you I lived at. I had an issue. We moved out. It wasn't an issue with the house. We moved out. We decided to move out that house. Homie had an issue, not me. So it was last minute, so I had to find a quick apartment. I found an apartment in Barrio Nuevo. Okay. Anybody who's been in my car with me, anybody who's been hanging out with me, or I've done a video sometimes, Barrio Nuevo is the hood of Puerto Plata. I don't care about any other town. Barrio Haiti, nothing compared to Barrio Nuevo. Barrio Nuevo is horrible. Crackheads, $5 hookers. You get your good burger down the block though. It's the hood. It's really I've had Dominicans tell me, hey man, you might not want to sit in this park when it gets dark. I'm like, yeah, I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that bad. I lived there, got to my crib, went in my crib, locked my door. I didn't come out, I didn't hang out outside unless I was going somewhere else. That was temporary. I lived there for 4 or 5 months until I found me another apartment. I just needed something at the moment. Found me another apartment, I was out. But I stayed in that area, but I knew people in the area. So it wasn't like I was like, oh my God. I stayed there because and also I just happened to know people over there. When I say bad area, meaning bad for most people. For me, it was cool. Hey, what's up? Go in my crib. Come home 3, 4 in the morning, 9 in the morning, didn't matter. Well, no, when I came home 9 in the morning, I was embarrassed because the owner was a church guy. And he looked at me crazy. He's like, ugh, 9 a.m., you just come home. Anyway. But it was the hood. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I'm not hanging out with nobody. I'm going home, going to my crib. That was it. Didn't want to hang out with the homies. Didn't want to be seen. I don't want none of that. You know what I'm saying? Usually anywhere I live, my home is my castle. So I'm going inside and that's it. I ain't talking to nobody. I'd rather live in Cap Birthday. Cool. I've never lived there. Freddie Mac, now locals don't eat where tourists frequent, but you also got to understand, are you going to eat rice and beans every day? When we eat locals, like, are you going to eat certain things? Like, you know, no knock, you eat whatever you want. But a lot of Dominicans eat the same thing almost every day or every other day. So I can't do that. Beans, what up? He's all that. I'm about to eat dinner in a minute. If you buy ass and cherry instead of petrol, I hear you get a discount. Hey, genocide, I got nothing to do with that. Happy hour out at the white people bars are super cheap. It's definitely better to rent first. Yeah, you actually win cooking for yourself. Like I said, I buy a lot of food, so wifey always cook. I eat a home cooked meal almost every night. That definitely saves money. But I still, like I said, my shopping bill is going up because of what I'm doing in the gym, my weight loss and stuff like that. So I'm eating more meat. It's, you know, the bills have gotten a little pricier, but you definitely save money. It's cheaper than going to a restaurant. I could eat an 8-ounce steak at home and not spend thousands of pesos at a restaurant. Boring and quiet is perfect. Definitely watch out for the energy bills. Like I said, the light bill. You run your AC all the time, expect your light bill to go up. This is probably the highest light bill I've ever had in the entire country in all my years here, which I told you guys is about $120 a month average. That's the average. We just paid $120 that light bill. Excuse me, for this month. That's the highest I've ever had. My light bills have been from $30 and up. But $120 is probably the highest bill I've ever had in all my years here. So, you know, you got to watch that. Definitely better to buy. Bean said, what's the process to open a Calmado? It's better to buy out an owner. I'll be honest with you. I've looked into Calmados before. I think it's better to buy one that's already there if they're willing to sell. Buying a whole Calmado, I think it's better to do that than try to build. When I've seen people build Calmados and it doesn't come out the same. Stuff like that, you kind of want to deal with a Dominican business person because they know, like I said, I've learned a lot from Dominican business people, and it's a lot of stuff we don't know that we think, oh, America. No, it's not the same here. So a lot of things you want to know. So I would say buy a whole one. Oh, yeah, a lot of stuff being built out here, man. Buoyancy. I got what you were saying. What's the dumbest thing I've seen someone spend money on while living here? Good question. A business. I won't say what business because they don't know who I'm talking about. They spent money on a business without talking to me because I would have told them not to do it. Didn't know who they were dealing with, didn't know the situation, lost a ton of money. You want some people want stuff to do. A lot of people are retired here. A lot of people hanging out. People want stuff to do. They don't want to work, but they want to stay busy. And so some guys just throw money into a business, which is great, but you got to know who you're dealing with first. A lot of people will be your friend until they're not your friend anymore, especially over money. There really is no best way. Vaughn, it's all about where you want to live. I don't like Santiago, but I got friends that love Santiago, live out in Santiago. So it's really up to you. Yeah, I've been to La Romana a few times. Montellano's cool. That's where I live, so nearby. Safety is a huge concern over there. I can't speak on nobody else, genocide. I speak on the things I know. It was $500 a week now. I say I wasn't lying. It was a long time ago. My daughter was a baby then. $1,500 a month. I was like, Jesus Christ. Easy to buy, hard to get out. There you go, Freddie. You watch the videos. If you move 4 chicas and expect to pay some money, because I'm sure they got kids. Oh yeah, yes, it is the highest light bill with the neon lights. They don't burn a lot of energy. This damn AC does. Yes, neon lights flash in the background. DR is not cheap at all. It is cheaper in America. Try Morelia, Mexico. I don't even know what Morelia is. I've never even heard of it before, so I definitely can't try that. But we're speaking about DR now. Currently paying for my condo under construction, Box King says, and it's to be delivered 2027. No rent or mortgage is key for me when I retire in DR. HOA fees about $200 a month. That's not bad at all. The rest is great. Yeah, $200 a month. HOAs ain't bad at all. That's good. The best hobbies are getting in shape, hitting the beach, swimming. Believe it or not, since the food is so pure here, a lot of people get in shape down here. A lot of people lose weight. Not what I'm doing, but just basically losing weight, eating clean. A lot of people get out and walk. A lot of walking. I've seen people do. Getting healthier. I've seen a lot of people just get healthier, do things they wouldn't normally do back home in the States. $2 of light bills probably high. You need to turn down because those fancy lights. My bad, y'all. Yes, it's the lights. It is the lights. It's all good. But anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. You can go in the comment section and leave me what you think your budget will be. If you guys got any questions before I get out of here, I'm not going to stay here too long. I wanted to break everything down for you. As I said, my average cost of living is $2,000 a month. It can go up, it can go down based on the events that happen. This month was pretty high based on my kids graduating. It can go up, it can go down, but the average is about $2,000. I'll go over again. My car insurance is $34 for the year. My health insurance is $685 for the year. So my car may get broken up. If I get into an accident, I got to fix it, but I'll be covered in the hospital. I don't know why I'm laughing, but I am. So. Oh, appreciate it, man. Yeah, I actually had these lights added to the whole house. I'm proud of these lights. I don't get to use them often, so I turn them on. Yeah, I only took motos for short distances. Believe it or not, motos save the day when there's a lot of traffic. When I lived near Sosua, even when I had my car, hopping a moto would take me 5 minutes, whereas getting in my car trying to go through traffic would take me 30 minutes. I don't know. I don't do Airbnbs. I know people that are making money, so it could be profitable. I would just suggest what I've seen certain people do is owning their Airbnb rather than renting from someone else. That's just my opinion. Life of Bills. Please understand HOAs. The price is not set in stone. Yeah, that is also true. He said, I got lighting all over the house. I love these lights. No, it's not that. If you go back, I told you guys about my car. Let me give my car insurance info. So I had full coverage, right? And the young lady does my insurance. My full coverage was something like $800 a year, something like that, right? But they made a good point nobody really has full coverage unless you're financing a car. And by the time I get into an accident, and by the time the insurance puts up the money to fix it, I would have already gotten aggravated and paid to fix it anyway. So the insurance company takes longer. It ain't like the Americans. The insurance company takes longer here. So if I get into an accident, I'm going to fix my own shit. And I won't wait for no fucking insurance company. So liability, make sure other person can't sue me. There we go. We're done with that. Once I realized that they call it lay, once I realized that having basic insurance is pretty much what every single person has, only us non-Dominicans were getting full coverage and really not realize it don't matter. I did. I'm not going to tell you not to do full coverage. I'm just realizing for years I was paying full coverage for no apparent reason other than feeling like an American. Just liability. Average cost for a decent car. Now, on the low end, I say 10 grand. You don't want none of the thing. In my opinion, if you just want some putt-putt to get you 200 yards and running, cool. Get you a putt-putt, 5,000, whatever. This ain't America. A putt-putt here. You got two options with a putt-putt here. A putt-putt here could last you 17 years because someone took care of it, or it could last you 30 days. I've actually seen this. So it's a roll of a $3,000 to $5,000 roll of the dice. $10,000 definitely gets you a decent car. I call that upgrade putt-putt. If you want a nice car, $15,000 and up. If you want something new, $30,000, $40,000, depending on what you want. But I would say $10,000 just to get something decent. I've actually seen someone's car break down in 30 days after they bought it. Appreciate it, Angry Bush. Y'all hit that like button. Oh, no, I don't ride motorcycles, bro. I ride on the back. I don't ride motorcycles. Pinky, what's up with you? Them Chinese SUVs I'm looking into. They look dope, and I've heard good things about them. I'm looking into it. That might be my next thing. And not right now, but sometime in the future. So, listen, you guys go in the chat. Put what you feel your monthly budget would be. I'm going to get out of here. This was the true cost of living in Dominican Republic. Anybody can count it whatever they want. This is basically mine, and I gave you averages. So you guys stay tuned for more. You might hear the music. Someone, a CRV just pulled up. That's why you got to rent first. Yeah, they got them, but they got charges here and there. You guys stay tuned for more. Don't forget Sunday service. Like, share, subscribe. Share this video if anyone want to know what it's like and averages based on the cost of living in the Dominican Republic. That's my cost of living for 2025. You guys stay tuned for more.